Alright, hi everybody, it's Bonkai922. Um, did my fairy tale review, everyone saw that, it was going crazy and everything. I am going to agree with King of Lightning. Natsu's not going to win. There's no way in hell Natsu's going to beat him. Genma? I don't think so. I don't think so. Well, it'll be much more interesting to see if Natsu fights Sting or Rogue. I got a theory on the whole thing between Sting and Rogue, their relationship. But that's going to have to come later, because now it is time for, hopefully I'm saying this right, Shingeki no Kyojin. Better known as Attack on Titan. Chapter came out. This one is chapter 33, The Wall. This one was pretty much, this was just like a continuation of the last chapter that we saw, which was last month. We got the transfer. We knew, we already had found out who the female Titan was. It was Annie. This one is going to be this chapter was interesting than last week's, because, last month's. Excuse me. That kind of thing. And in the beginning of this chapter, we see the convoy squad is getting ready. They're talking to people and saying, "Go over there, sir, to find out what's going on." And we get this conversation between Irvin, who's the leader, commander of the squad, with this other guy. And they're just talking, saying, "Oh, there's no way a Titan could appear here. How do you, like he says, Irvin, you just what are you trying to do?" And we see, I forgot his name. These things are monthlies, and I can't remember people's names in the show. Shit, I forgot the guy's name. The captain. No, not the captain. The corporal, who's in charge of the squad, who's like second command. He is, I forgot his name. God damn, I can't say his name. Anyway, he's sitting there looking at, and then we get this interesting thing with these people saying this, "Let us pray to Maria, to Rose, to Sheena," to the different walls, saying that, "Oh, by the hand of God stronger, let's pray. Only the pure heart of a true believer can protect us from Titans. Only the power can drive them away." And this whole priest talking. I'm like, are you an idiot? And guess what happens? Next page. Boom! Here comes Annie. She hits in a fucking building, and she kills a bunch of people. It's like, come on, you didn't see that coming. So obviously things are getting really crazy. She's fighting Eren, and you see that she kills a bunch of people. You see limbs torn off, and she's like, ugh. And she's running away. The guy says, "How dare you? You must not come any closer to the wall." Moving right along, the convoy, they know that she's getting closer to the wall. She's planning to scale the wall, and they say, "Aim for her leg, stop her," and they can't get to her quick enough. She's really fast, Annie. She's like, wow. And Mikasa, that's her name. Mikasa almost gets to her, but misses her, and then she's fuck, what is his name? Eren. Not Eren, no, not Eren. The other guy, his other friend. He's basically saying, take her blind spot, take behind her. And then they notice that, and then she's basically saying, I'm going to take responsibility because the top guy of our squad went down because of me, and she wants to take responsibility. So what ends up happening is is she is going to take responsibility for it. But then they notice that it's flatland ahead. And flatland means there's no way for them to get there to attack her. Because there's no buildings to Skype on, to get to hook on for their anchors. So that's when Eren shows up, monster form, ready to go, and he decides to go after her. And then, I forgot his name, his other friend's name, but basically, they're saying that in that case, let's believe in Eren to buy us enough time. So while this is going on, his other friend, I forgot his name. Anyway, is thinking, oh, her job was to capture Eren, but it looks like she's not. She doesn't have. She's giving up on that situation until she stops. And he stops and begins to then fight Eren. And then, I think it's Eren talking to himself, saying, Annie, you always look, you consider those around you hopeless idiots, you always seemed bored, but there are times when you liven up. It's when you get to show off your hand-to-hand combat skills. You said it was just a stupid pastime your father forced you to take up, but I was never convinced that was how you really thought of it. And Eren's thinking to himself, I always thought that you really suck at lying. And then what ends up happening is he's fighting her, she kicks his leg comes off, he jumps. And then he's thinking to himself, Eren, what is your reason for fighting Annie? Like, what is your reason? For what kind of great cause did you bring yourself to kill people? Like, what reason are you, And he's able to hit her, punch her, but she then just kicks him in the head. But, yeah, kicks him in the head. He falls into this building. And everyone says, now's our chance, go around. And then they get to her. My friend on Skype calling. They finally get to her. And she's climbing the wall. And this is when things get. Climbing the wall in her Titan form. At this rate, she'll get away. I won't let her. And Eren's able to get up and regenerate himself. And from there, someone tells Mikasa not to go after her. Because they have forces on the other side of the wall. But it's the flatlands, so they're not going to have the advantage on her. So that's when Mikasa decides to do something about it. She cuts Annie's fingers off, which is pretty cool. I thought this was an interesting scene in the chapter. She cuts off her fingers, not on just one hand, which is her right hand, Annie's right hand, but on her left hand as well. And that's when... And then Eren's got Kamen? I think that's his name, Kamen. He's got Kamen. And Armin, that's his name. Armin, finally got his name. Armin's there with Eren, and they notice that Mikasa got Annie to cut off her fingers and says, Annie, fall. And then she just falls from the wall. And then we get this flashback of Annie and her father. He says, I was wrong. It's too late for us to ask you for forgiveness for me now. Listen to one thing I have to say. I want to ask you. Looking in. She said, I want to ask you to treat the whole world as your enemy. That's what her father told her. And then, even if the whole world were cursing you, said, you remember that your father will always be your side, so please promise me something. Promise you come back. And that's when we get this flash of light when Eren's about to take her out of the Titan. And then she's like cocooned in this. I don't know what it was. It was weird. It was like a cocooned, crystallized form, like this rock thing. I don't know what it is. Moving right along, Mikasa's like, well, just now what? And then she notices pieces of the wall are falling off. And the next page, last page, we see Annie. It says Annie, who shut herself in, a titan inside the wall, mysteries all over the place. I would like to show you this. This titan is inside the wall. I was like, what? They got Annie. She's just trapped in this cocoon thing. But there's another titan inside the wall. And like it says, mysteries all over the place. I was stunned. I was like, holy shit. You know what? I think this chapter of Shingeki no Kyojin, Attack on Titan, I think, for me, I read this right after Fairy Tail. After reading Fairy Tail, I read this. This might be a better chapter to read. This show is just, 4 out of 5. Sorry. I want to give it a 4.5 out of 5, but still need questions answered. 4 out of 5. This is turning into a humongous, gigantic series. A lot of questions to be answered. A lot of questions to be answered. Hopefully we get answers soon, because I'm getting more and more interested in this show. It's just like, and the Titan that appears in the wall, crack of the wall, inside the wall. A Titan inside the wall. God knows what's going on. God knows. This has been Bonkai922. I suggest everybody check out Attack on Titan, or if it's known as Shingeki no Kyojin. Check it out, man. You guys have got to watch it. Gotta watch it. Heard it from me. See you guys later.